Armando Baker here.
It's Luke May.
This is Tyler Hansbrough.
University of North Carolina.
Here's North Carolina.
I just want to shout out my boy JBear_YT.
JBear_YT.
It's Carolina family, baby.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
What's up, boys? Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be kind of a rant video about the North Carolina Tar Heels football team. As you guys probably know if you're watching this video, North Carolina is 2-2 on the season with losses to Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. Apparently the technical institutions Carolina can just not beat this year. Thankfully, that is the last one on our schedule, so that is good. But it's not our last road game, and so far this year, Carolina has stunk on the road. Absolutely been atrocious on the road. It has not been good whatsoever. But in this video specifically, I want to dive into the Carolina versus Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets game because it's the most recent, and I feel like we had moved on at that point from the Virginia Tech game. Things were moving forward and looking good for the program, and then this happened, and it just this is an absolute pushback, absolute shot in the foot for the program. You can't let it push you back too bad because at the end of the day, the program is continuing to be on the rise with the recruiting, and things are going to get better theoretically. But this game was really, really rough. As you can see, 45-22 loss right here. By far, I don't think this loss can be beat necessarily. Multiple reasons. I think Carolina is going to be better as they go on throughout the season, and also, I don't think this Georgia Tech team is that good. I really don't. I think they have potential to be pretty good. Jeff Collins finally fitting into the Georgia Tech system. But I really don't think the team is that good right now. But we really underperformed on the road in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it was not pretty. Looking at the stats here, Sam Howell, his stats don't look bad. And he really wasn't bad. Outside of like the usual stuff you see from Sam Howell, being holding on to the ball too long. That's really about it. But he did had a couple inaccurate throws that he usually would make, but that's nothing. I mean, that is nothing. So he did have a couple 3 fumbles. 2 of them were recovered by the defense, I believe, which it wasn't great. You don't see that very often from Sam. And that's not entirely on him. He's got to get the ball out quicker. But that's always been a problem for Sam, needing to get the ball out quicker. So I'm not concerned about the fumbles or anything like that. Really, I'm not concerned about Sam whatsoever, honestly. Okay, the O-line is what I'm really concerned about. It just, I don't really understand. I don't want to call anybody out, obviously. These are just college students. They don't deserve to be like criticized like that, you know what I'm saying? But the O-line, it has to be better for this team to get to where it wants to be. There are multiple holding penalties, which just aren't really necessary. And it just hasn't been great protection. I mean, and this Georgia Tech defensive line, they had a good game, but it was nothing like that should be. How many sacks did they have? Does that show me here? No. We like to count in here. Took it 3.5, 4.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8. 8 sacks. That's insane. And I know Sam's gonna get the ball out quicker, but we can't have 8 sacks. I mean, that is crazy. I know some of that is the receivers needing to get more separation on the corners in the secondary, which they haven't really been terrible at. There were actually like 1 or 2 times yesterday where Sam would miss an open receiver. But again, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Sam whatsoever. That's not any of the problems of this team right now. But man, 8 sacks, that's crazy. Sam's been sacked probably, I don't know the exact number, probably about 16 times this year. 8 of them being tonight, last night. But you know, the team hasn't been great, and the way that Carolina was running last night was not good at all. 17 carries and 48 yards for Ty Chandler. He had a rough one, but last game he was good, so it was just like, see, that's where I kind of feel like we should have passed the ball more. As much as the O-line couldn't hold up, I think passing was the only way we were going to win that game, because just forcing the run game and just getting off the field so quickly and running time off the clock was not working, but we continued to do it. So it really, and also I'm not sure why Caleb Hood didn't play. I thought he should have got a chance to do. He had a pretty good game last week, so I'm not sure why he didn't play this week. Maybe he's injured. I'm not exactly sure. But as far as receiving goes, there were some good games by some people, but there were a couple big, really important drops. I know Emery Simmons had a drop. I think Josh Downs had one drop. It wasn't necessarily his fault. He got a little bit overshot by Sam, I believe. And then Troffrey Brown had a basic, almost a touchdown fall out of his hands, unfortunately. But yeah, it wasn't great, man. I've been really impressed with Kamari Morales this year, though. And as far as the defense goes, it was a great start for the defense. But once Jeff Sims came into the game and started running the ball, doing all of this option stuff where he was holding onto the ball and stuff, the defense really did fall apart. And I know after the game, like Jeremiah Gemmel was talking about how they were like obviously scheming for Jordan Yates and not Jeff Sims, obviously, because they didn't know he was going to play or not. But it did come back to bite them, especially in that second half. It was really rough. Which, I mean, I guess that's a fair excuse. I mean, when you don't scheme for somebody, I understand that it could be a problem. But you got to do that at halftime, man. You can't keep allowing it. You have to figure out a way to stop it, whether it's in the halftime huddle while the offense is on the field or something like that. You got to be able to fix it. But I've been really impressed with the linebackers this year. Jeremiah Gemmel, Cedric Gray. Eugene Gasante's had a good couple of games. But in the second half, there just wasn't much going on the defensive end. To be fair, Jeff Sims did have a couple like incredible throws, like just some real dots. Honestly, a couple touchdown passes were just perfectly thrown. The coverage actually wasn't bad, but it just didn't work out for the Tar Heels there. And that's just credit to Georgia Tech for being the better team that night. So I don't think it definitely hurts the program that this loss did happen. What we have to do is we absolutely have to bounce back at home. Just before we go to that, the stats, passing yards, we severely outpassed them. 133 passing yards is insane. He couldn't stop the run all night. It wasn't a pretty sight there. And a couple times, Georgia Tech should have had another touchdown, actually, earlier in the game, or later on in the game, I should say, where he was marked down when he wasn't. But, I mean, it was just bad. It really just was bad. But looking into the future, Carolina has 3 straight home games. Obviously, they have chances to win all of them. Do I expect them to win all of them? At this point, I gotta not be sure about that. Duke, that should be. Duke's been overperforming, but it's still Duke. It's a rivalry game, and we're at home. That has to be taken seriously. I don't see them losing that. Florida State's just been really, really bad. I'd be pretty shocked if UNC lost that one. Florida State is the worst team in the ACC. Not talent-wise, just based on how they've played. And Miami, they've been underperforming, but they're still a talented team. And based on what happened last year in Miami for that game, they'll be ready to fight in this one. So I could definitely see a loss here. But I mean, these 3 games, if you can win those, I mean, you're back to where you were last year at this time, with like 2 losses that shouldn't have been lost, but you did lose them. You just did underperformed on those nights, and you're kind of just back to where you were, which is unfortunate, but you have to be able to capitalize. It's great that you're really good at home, but we have to figure out how to do some stuff on the road, which Notre Dame, that's going to be a tough one to win on the road. Same with Pitt and NC State. So we'll see what's going on for this program, but obviously they still are in a upward trajectory. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Where do you think the Tar Heels are going to finish in this season? At this point, I'm kind of looking at maybe an 8-4, and then who knows what's going to happen in the bowl game. But it's going to be tough. Some of these games are going to be tough. But I could also see them bouncing back and still not losing a game from here on out. But it's going to be tough. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. do all that YouTube stuff. I appreciate your guys' support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.